bow with me. Dear Lord, we thank you so much for another day you've given us to shine a light on you, and we pray tonight, Lord, that we conduct the county's business in a way pleasing to you. We do thank you for this opportunity. Please help us not to take that for granted. Just be with everyone tonight as we leave, and help us all to have a safe travel, and hope this meeting is pleasing to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reading of last month's
Izard County Quorum Court met in regular session on Monday, May the 6th at 5 p.m. with all justices present. The minutes of the April meeting were approved on a motion by Justice Miller and a second by Justice Cooper, with all in favor. Ordinance number 2024-12, an ordinance to appropriate funds into Fund 1006 from the ARPA Fund 3046, gravel and bridge projects, was approved on a motion by Justice Hatman and seconded by Justice Sherrill. After a roll call vote, all were in favor. Ordinance number 2024-13, an ordinance to clean up the operating budget for calendar year 2023, was approved on a motion by Justice Miller and seconded by Justice Mosier. After a roll call vote, all were in favor. Ordinance number 2024-14, an ordinance to appropriate funds into Fund 1006 from the ARPA Fund 3046, courtroom repairs, was approved on a motion by Justice Emmons and seconded by Justice Miller. After a roll call vote, all were in favor. Ordinance number 2024-15, an ordinance to appropriate funds into Fund 1006 from the ARPA Fund 3046, Fairgrounds Building, was approved on a motion by Justice Miller and seconded by Justice Mosier. After a roll call vote, all were in favor. And with no other business, the court adjourned at 6:03 p.m. on a motion by Justice Miller and seconded by Justice Collins.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as read.
Do I hear a second? Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say likewise. Comment from the audience? Go ahead.
Just a 3-minute test?
Yep. State your name and...
My name is Jeremiah Copper.
Go ahead.
Today I stand before you to shed light on a dark chapter in our history. The erosion of our fundamental rights over 2 years, compounded with tyranny we and mine have endured, our lives overshadowed by fear of retribution, of speaking out, standing up against injustice. The opposers wield their power with impunity, silencing, trampling on our immunities. Families torn apart, livelihoods destroyed, and hope extinguished. Full immeasurable for the words I cannot describe. Suffered at the hands of trusted officials long enough. Internal investigations into these matters showed bias, no accountability, no transparency, the least of which showed ferocity of me and mine different from many years. Fear tactics, malicious prosecution, threats, retaliation, harassment, laws broken, and rights violated. The list goes on. If laws and policies and procedures set in the Sheriff's Office manual and standards of practice were adhered to, you wouldn't find myself here today. To this issue, as we are gathered here today, I want to underscore the indestructible role that a body-worn cameras play in our community. These devices are not mere accessories. They are powerful tools that promote transparency, public trust, and hold law enforcement accountable. Should not be turned off whilst on duty, and should have stopped this malice dead in its tracks today. I want to emphasize also accountability on dispatch calls to our community, that recording conversations to dispatch is not mere administrative tasks. To record conversations will also be a powerful tool that serve the greater good by promoting transparency, accountability, and effective communication would inhibit retaliatory stops in the future. And last but not least, education and proper training, the cornerstone and the foundation of law enforcement to serve our community correctly, is lacking at best. Should be addressed before more mistakes are made. Thank you for your time.
Any questions?
other comments? All right, first thing on the agenda, Michelle, I'm gonna let you speak on this before we talk about the ordinance.
All right, I'm here because on April 10th of this year, the County Board of Election Commissioners submitted a bill for 9 meetings they held within the primary election cycle. And, the bill was to be paid at $125 a meeting, and the bill came back and he was paid at $100 a meeting. And so it was brought to my attention that ordinance 2019-05 either needs to be amended or a new ordinance passed to reflect Arkansas law. This past General Assembly, Senate Bill 292, now Act 356, was passed, March 2023. That, bill became law that same August. And if you follow me, section 1, subsection B says each member of the County Board of Election Commissioners shall receive for his or her services the sum of no less than $125 per public meeting when official business is conducted, up to a total of 10 meetings for an election. Now, we know that on any given election cycle, we can have a pre-election, we have a primary, we can have a runoff, or we have a general election. Section, part 2 says, for each meeting over the number of meetings for elections under subdivision B of this section, each member of the County Board of Election Commissioners shall receive for his or her services the sum of no less than $25, per meeting. This is like if in the primary, they go ahead and have 11 meetings, for that extra meeting, they get paid $25. Subdivision C reads as follows. Each member of the County Board of Election Commissioners shall receive compensation in the amount of no less than $15 per hour worked outside of a public meeting, subject to the following limitations. Number 1, a member of the County Board of Election Commissioners shall be paid for work conducted outside of a meeting for up to 40 hours per election, or the Quorum Court may set the amount of hours a member of the County Board of Election Commissioners may be paid between 0 hours and 40 hours per election. And it goes into, like if a county employee has been made available to us an election coordinator, subject to the requirements that the employee comply with the directions of the County Board of Election Commissioners, and so forth. At this time, there is no provisions in the current ordinance to pay an election commissioner by the hour. It needs to be amended to reflect as such and to reflect the amount per meeting that they need to be paid. And with that being said, being that this became law last August, there should be a retroactive $25 per meeting that they did not get paid.
Everything from August on.
Correct. Well, but we didn't have anything last year. So it would be for the primary. The 9 meetings they had for the primary of 24.
Uh-huh.
And
Were those
that
after
includes, no, because the bill became law in August of last year.
Okay, so however many meetings you had from there, that's when it needs to be 125,
Right,
correct?
exactly. But what I'm correcting is that nothing happened last year. So we had a primary and a runoff, and between the two, it was only 9 meetings. So it would be $25 times 9 that is owed to the commission.
Were they after August, the meeting? Because before that, it was $100, correct?
It was $100.
I'm asking.
Okay, yeah, but this became law 2023 August.
Okay.
The election happened in 24. So it was.
Has there been 9 meetings since August, is my question?
No. I mean, since August, no.
Since the law went into effect, has there been 9 meetings?
No, because we didn't have an election, school board election, because everybody was unopposed, so we found the law where we could just declare winners without having to.
Have a meeting.
And that election was in May, so it was before August, so it was still $100 even if they had an election.
Right.
But you're saying all the meetings since January?
Correct.
Okay.
And they did meet in November, I must say, because that's when people filed and they had to generate the ballots, so they had meetings on November on, but it still falls within the time frame of getting the 125 completed.
When we passed that in 2019, the bill that we had, that's what the law was $100,
Right.
correct?
Correct.
So we just slipped up and didn't know the extra $25. Is that what you're saying?
Correct, yeah, the thing is, in August of last year, they passed up with like 30+ election laws, and it's hard to keep up with this type of stuff.
Yeah.
But being that the election budget was amended to reflect a significant increase, I assume we all were on the same page, and I guess not. So,
Well, I mean, that's what it said it should be, we didn't know that you had changed, or that it had changed.
yeah, that's correct.
I'm all in favor of writing up a new one with the $125 in there, if you wanna bring it.
Is that all? I mean, we
Well,
can
no,
amend.
you have to have the 40 hours per election that they would work. It's up to you to set, it's no less than $15 an hour. But you can set that amount here, yourself.
Right, it says between 0 hours and 40.
Correct.
Correct.
By $15 an hour regardless. You can, that's the minimum if you read subsection C. So the ordinance would have to reflect that.
Okay.
The limit, because they do work outside of the election meetings a lot, okay? This is something where they catch all the flack as it comes. They have to answer to the state, what would an election complaint happen? And sometimes we spend up to 2 weeks answering complaints and not getting paid for it. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say, and I appreciate if you guys can put this through. And thank you for your time.
Would y'all rather me type up a new ordinance and?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
we'll do that next meeting, and, it'll reflect them changes. Next thing on the.
Run it by Ms. Graff and stuff, make sure it's
Yeah.
something that the election commission.
Yeah, they need to approve it, I guess, maybe.
I can add to this that one of our commissioners, actually 2 of them, worked several hours outside of the meeting, but they did not submit that, being that the meeting reimbursement got denied to that amount that the law said. But they have to give me like a date and time when that they worked and what they did.
Okay.
And then I'll get that ready and bring it over.
But that was before August, correct?
That they work extra?
Yes.
No, that was in January on.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll get with you when I get this
All right.
typed up.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Eric, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
On this? So what you're doing is really adjusting an ordinance to be in alignment with
With
current state law.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. All right, next thing on the agenda, the NADC. So NADC has come to me asking to purchase some property. Behind the senior center, the little daycare building that's back there. You know where that's, I don't know if any of y'all has ever been back there or not, but so.
They had started at one time, is that it?
Yeah. And it's been there and it's been empty for a long time.
I thought that someone else had control of that, and we weren't allowed to do anything with it. Cause we talked about using it for
Head Start,
hikers.
yes, Head Start, still has control of it. So NADC is wanting to purchase the land that it sits on. So they'll be able to get grants on it and be able to use that building. Their plan is to move out of the old hospital. They've had offices in that one end of the old hospital for years. Their plan is to move to that building and move all their offices out of our building there into their own.
Can we sell something that has a lease on it, but from someone else for 100 years or whatever it was?
I think we can sell that property. There's no lease on that property, I don't think.
I thought that was the reason we couldn't have it back, because Head Start had it. Because we asked for
Head
it
Start
back,
has
to use
the
it for hikers.
building. Head Start has the building,
Okay.
but they don't have any land. So basically, Head Start's purchasing, they wanna purchase an acre of land, or up to an acre.
But they're wanting the building too, which we have a lease on.
Yeah, we don't have a lease.
We leased.
NADC or Head Start does. NADC runs the Head Start program, which Head Start is based out of, I guess their headquarters is in Texas. But
they wanna be able to purchase the land the building sits on, so they can take it over.
So we know the building.
No.
I'm like you, I'm.
Who's on now?
All we do is
Uh,
on the
No,
lease.
Head Start, or NADC, it's basically the same thing.
Our building's at our land.
They already did, it's sitting there, 'cause we
Yeah.
tried to get it back to use it for
Yeah.
5-year deal, and we
Yeah.
couldn't have it. We couldn't have our building back.
But
set on
now
our
they,
land.
because it was built with grant money, and they wouldn't release it.
Yeah, I know, I'm a little confused.
But they wanna be able to, and I told them I would ask y'all if they'd be interested in selling the piece of property it sits on, so they can renovate it to move their offices in.
Where are these leases?
And I don't think there is a lease on the building, NADC's got a lease, I guess. They built the building with a grant, so,
On county land.
on county land.
There's gotta be some sort of.
There might be a lease on the property. We still own the property though.
Brad, what do you think?
Think there better be a lease somewhere on that property.
Well, I'm saying NADC probably leased the property, they just wanna buy it instead of leasing it.
And basically, the people that are leasing it are the ones wanting to buy it,
Yes.
so they're kinda controlling everything.
Yeah. And I don't know what a fair marketable value for an acre of land there would be.
So the building's empty right now.
Yes.
Has been for years.
Yep.
And I'm not opposed to anybody getting some use out of it, I just don't wanna get in any trouble that we leased it to some.
It's the leasee that's wanting to buy it.
Right, yeah.
It looks like, why do they want to buy it if they already got it?
So
They got it for 100 years.
yeah.
They got it for 100 years.
I mean, I don't understand, for free.
But they said that they could not get grants since they do not own the land. I mean, it'd be like you building your house on somebody else's property, and even though you got a lease to it, you don't have ownership. They want ownership. I told them I'd ask you.
I'm not necessarily opposed to it, we need to figure out what the market value is and make sure there's not any problem with the lease. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. Wanna make sure that we're on the up and up.
I'll look for a lease between now and next meeting.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Y'all wanna table it?
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, and if y'all would come up with a price
Maybe
an
Justin
idea
could
on-
like give us some vision.
on what an acre of land out there would be worth.
I'll make a motion, we table it till the next meeting.
Okay. Alright, next thing is park project discussion. So, same piece of property, the county owns 20 acres out there, where the senior center sits. 10 of that was developed when it was purchased, was set aside as park, property, when they purchased it. Well, that it gives us the opportunity to apply for a grant for a park. My idea is to apply for, it's a park grant, it's up to $100,000, no matching. And I wanna do a disc golf course out there. And the next thing is a resolution to allow me to apply for a grant for that. And that would also, I've talked to the ladies there at the senior center with the disc golf, that gives them a trail that they can also walk, so the people at the senior center, they can walk around the trail and get some exercise. They thought it was a great idea. The next thing is a resolution, if you'll read that.
Whereas the city of Izard, Arkansas recognizes the need to provide public recreation facilities for its local citizens and visitors. And whereas the county wishes to apply for fun park grant funds through the Arkansas Department of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism to improve a public park at the following location: Izard County Senior Citizen Center, 30 Chapel Hill Road, Rockville, Arkansas. Whereas the county judge and the Quorum court understand that if granted funds for park development, they must provide land by lease or ownership to develop park facilities on, and whereas the county of Izard, Arkansas will sign a contract agreeing to provide the necessary resources to maintain this park and facilities for a period of 25 years. Now therefore, be it resolved, the County of Izard, Arkansas hereby authorizes the mayor to submit an application for grant funding for the Arkansas Department of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism to develop a public park.
There's a couple of
Yeah,
typos
city
in
needs
there.
to be changed to county.
Yeah, and then mayor needs to be judge. Right.
How big is this area?
We have 20 acres out there, but only 10 acres of it would be designated as that. And it's already designated as a park, so,
If this golf takes quite a,
yes,
like this.
yeah.
Who's gonna maintain it?
I guess the county will, yeah.
No, I mean, we got the money.
And the senior center said they would help keep trash
that'd be
picked
fine.
up and everything else.
Yeah. If somebody's gotta be kinda in charge of that.
Yes, yeah. And I know Calico, you know, they built theirs several years ago, and I don't know if y'all have ever played disc golf, but it is a lot of fun. And they've done great there.
I'll make a motion to pass the resolution with the two changes from county, city to county and mayor to judge.
Got a motion, do I hear a second?
Second. Roll call vote. Justice Sanders.
Yes.
Justice Hackman.
Yes.
Justice Sherrill.
Yes.
Justice Mosier.
Yes.
Justice Miller.
Yes.
Justice Thornton.
Yes.
Justice Cone.
Yes.
Justice Cooper.
Yes.
Justice Emmons.
Yes.
What was that resolution number?
2024-16, I'm sorry.
All right, next thing on the agenda, David Schultz.
We called
Gary?
and decided it was supposed to be him and me on the agenda, but
Okay, that's.
we got
that's
together and he
come
let
on
me
in.
go first. Evening, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Feels good being able to give a speech before y'all and not ask for funding.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. Was hoping to just do a little bit of PR tonight. You notice we got quite a few faces in the crowd. Hoping to start off with just a little bit of a story. About 5 years ago, I had the privilege of listening to the governor give a speech in Hot Springs. The governor then was Asa Hutchinson, and he gave this talk, and all the people that were there were kind of ready to hear from him because the floods had occurred in Little Rock, and they were still dealing with the floods. So they were kind of anxiously waiting to hear what the governor had to say about the floods. He started his speech by talking about emergency management and how vital of a role it was and how it played to the state, especially in our communities. He spoke about how great it was to see emergency personnel come together and that everyone from local departments all the way up to the National Guard and FEMA came together in unison to begin rescue efforts. He also spoke about how he was moved to tears to see volunteers from all across the state and how they had come out to lend a hand. Arkansas has a long and rich history of helping their fellow neighbors in times of crisis, was one of the quotes that he gave. As a testament to their desire to help, he gave an example from a book that he was reading. And the book was about the Little Rock flood of 1927. I wasn't around for that. If y'all know anybody who was around for that, shake their hand pretty quick. But apparently, the flood that hit them in 27 had water rising and it was moving swiftly and it was creating problems with rescue efforts. In fact, rescue efforts was extremely difficult and pretty much at a standstill. Word was quickly spreading about the troubled rescue efforts. And back then in 1927, word had spread it had to go the hard way. But word traveled, and it got all the way up to Izard and Stone and Baxter counties, and he mentioned our counties that day. And he asked, why was this significant? Well, it's because at that particular time, Prohibition was in effect. And while most young men were busy souping up their vehicles, men from Izard County and Stone County and Baxter counties were souping up their boats and running their alcohol on boats, on these souped up boats. But when they had gotten word that they needed help at Little Rock, they didn't care. They brought their boats down, they knew they needed help, and they had the tools that they needed. So they used their souped up boats, their special boats, to go and help. A great percentage of people saved during that flood of 27 can be and is attributed to those men from Izard, Baxter, and Stone counties with their special vehicles set to go. And he asked, of course, where is Izard and Baxter? Where's my representative? So we raised our hands, and he quoted, and it still rings to me today, the willingness to help those in need, to help neighbors, friends, and family runs especially deep in your areas. You have adapted to your ruralness and have learned to be there for your fellow neighbor, and that's something to be tremendously proud of. No doubt hearing his words made me proud to be from Izard County. Not for the fact that maybe we come from outlaws, but at least we're there to help people when we need them. Skip ahead to May 25th, just last week. Those words would again ring true. Baxter County suffered from an EF3 tornado that touched down in the communities of Briarcliff and Tracy. Requests were made from Baxter County, and the different people need help. You can ask anybody sitting behind me who's on the fire department, they'll say it looked like a third world country out there. Things were set in motion, things started happening, and help started coming. Pages went out, people started responding. It is with a sense of pride as OEM, and for all my fire departments that I help with, that out of the 10 fire departments in the county, 8 were able to respond, with a total of 45 men and women, all volunteers and firefighters. These departments responded with brush trucks, rescue trucks, ATVs, UTVs, all of which were stocked with chainsaws, extrication tools, extra radios, hammers, chains, and just any other sort of tools that they needed for the job. Even some responded in their personal vehicles. They too were loaded with things that they needed to get the job done. These firefighters would spend most of the day under the sweltering sun, doing hard back-breaking work in turnout gear, trying to clean debris from roads as fast as they could, carrying with it the extra stress of knowing that there's people in immediate need of help. That's always a huge stressor. Joining us here tonight are some of those volunteer firefighters that answered the call to help. Firefighters, please stand. These folks here tip the spear when it comes to people needing help. And I simply want to recognize that. Once again, our heritage is there. We're there to help our fellow neighbors, and when our neighbor to the north needed help, we showed up as strong as we could. That burning desire to help our neighbor and fellow man still lives on in our community to this day. And no doubt, that is something to be proud of. We're grateful for it. Thank you again. Tonight, we want to recognize the following departments with a certificate of recognition. Of course, I'd like to go ahead and recognize every individual, but time is a restraint. I don't keeping it from actual major stuff here tonight. But we wanted to at least recognize the departments with a certificate of recognition for your department's personnel and their dedicated efforts to saving life and property during the tornado of Baxter on 5/25/24. First certificate goes out to Calico Rock. Chief.
Thank you for the report.
Franklin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Horseshoe Bend. Milbert. Mount Pleasant. Oxford. Pineville. And Ruthie Mountain. Thank you. Our local departments weren't the only ones that carried the burden of helping. The Izard County Office of Emergency Management would also like the following agencies that played a very significant role on that day. Baxter County OEM, David Stoltz, thank you. Baxter County Sheriff's Office, Baxter County Dispatch and 911, Izard County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Milton. Izard County Dispatch, our dispatchers Mike Heitman and Haley Barnes, and they earned their pay that day. Even though Izard County wasn't affected, we still shared comms. Salesville Fire Department and Chief Ernest Malroy for opening up their station and providing food and water and also extra communications. Morriston FD for providing manpower and medics. We have Glencoe come down to be with us today for manpower and equipment. Newport Fire Department showed up for manpower. Arkansas Forestry for manpower, heavy equipment. They brought the big stuff. Arkansas Game and Fish for manpower and traffic assistance. Vital Link for patient care and supplying food. Arkansas State Police for manpower, traffic control, and of course the electric companies. And all the citizens from Izard and Baxter who just showed up to, hey, y'all need anything? That shows devoted to our community. And no doubt we say thanks. And last but not least, we want to say thank you. We want to say thank you to the Quorum Court. Simply because the things that they're able to purchase, for example, the ARPA funds that y'all were kind enough to get, went directly into buying materials, accessories, comms, gear that were needed that day. And we wanted to say thank you for that and your continued support to our fire departments. Thank you, gentlemen.
Road update.
Oh, it'd be pretty easy since Gary covered most of it. My name's David Stoltz. I'm the OM director for Baxter County. First of all, Judge Smith, I want to thank you for taking my call the other day. Second day, on Tuesday, I called the judge and spoke with him, spoke with Gary throughout this entire week. It's definitely been an adventure, but I want to get over here. I know it seems important to y'all over here, and it's important to us over there in Baxter that we just recognize folks for their assistance and helping out, especially in situations like this. So Gary kind of gave you the rundown of what happened, on Sunday. Just a little bit about myself. On Sunday I was snug as a bug in my bed, sleeping, and 4 in the morning my wife woke up and she said, "We're under a tornado warning," and she woke me up and I said, "Are you kidding me?" And I went outside and started looking, and not even felt like 2 or 3 minutes went by, and nickel-sized hail was coming down. 70, 80 mile an hour winds are flying through. I went back to my house, just like a lot of the men and women behind me, said, honey, I gotta go get the kiddos and yourself in the bathroom and, you know, stay there and message me, you know, every 5-10 minutes. Let me know you're okay. I gotta go to work. You know, and that's never an easy thing to do. So I understand the sacrifice of all of our first responders, you know, in your county, in our county, across our state. It's definitely been, a whirlwind, this last week. You know, we got a lot of work ahead of us. We're definitely not done. But, you know, Gary mentioned, the 8, fire departments that responded over there, 45 men and women. You know, I had the privilege of, speaking to several of those, Oxford, Effie, Pineville, Calico Rock, Melbourne. I know, Glencoe is here. I had the privilege to speaking with those men and women face to face during this. They're a huge help. I know, Robert, or as I was talking to him that day on the radio, 201, from Melbourne. You know, they came up, you know, in side by sides and they pretty much cleared Briarcliff City by themselves. I mean, they did tremendous work over there. You know, Briarcliff lost everything. You know, their city hall was gone. Tons of homes, destroyed. They came across our one deceased, and helped that family. You know, we had 17 injured. We had 6 of those were pediatric. One was flown to Little Rock Children's Hospital. And then we had, fortunately had one, fatality. And so definitely, want to thank Melbourne, SD and their search and rescue for everything they did for our county. Like I said, it's not, it's never a fun thing to happen or a good thing to happen or something you want to have happen in your county, but it happens. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. Even though that's what, you know, Office of Emergency Management is built around, is preparedness and mitigation and planning for stuff like this. But again, we just want to appreciate, your county. Gary, Dickerson, he's been phenomenal. For us, for me, he was probably one of my first 5 people, calling my phone and, saying, hey, what do you need? That was the first words out of his mouth. Well, what do you need? What can we do to help? I met Gary back in 20, with COVID. You know, I remember meeting him for the first time up at some of the hospitals and grabbing PPE and distributing that throughout our county, all across the state of Arkansas. And, me and Gary had that same conversation, just like we end most of our conversations. You know, if there's anything you need, holler. You know, we'll be there. And so, I just want to thank Gary for, you know, being a man of his word and you know, carrying, you know, Izard County, on his shirt and on his badge and things like that proudly. I appreciate him. He's been tremendous. As I expressed to, the judge on the phone, I can't say enough about, Gary, as far as what he did for our county and getting, the men and women over here from Izard to us to assist. But if there's anything, you know, in the future that Izard County needs, any help from us, I know from our office, I'm gonna tell you, you know, we're gonna be here for you. Baxter County's gonna be here for you. We're gonna answer the call, just like y'all did for us. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. I could talk all day, about it, but just I want you to know, thank you very much. You should be proud of Izard County. Everyone in the audience should be proud of Izard County, what y'all did and what you're gonna do and capable of doing. So I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. They got a long road ahead of them, Baxter County. Road update. Got an April and a May. So, April, the road department graded approximately 200 miles. We cut approximately 26 miles of right of way with sidearm, approximately 50 miles with bush hog, installed 7 culverts, hauled approximately 170 loads of rock to finish up them disaster roads. In May, we graded approximately 140 miles. We cut 75 miles of right of way with a bush hog, 10 miles with a sidearm. We hauled 146 loads of white rock and approximately 60 loads of clay gravel. We cleaned tree debris in several locations due to the storms. Repaired several washed out spots due to that heavy rain. Installed 3 new culverts. Sheriff left us his update, his report. There. And I guess y'all seen, we're under construction in here, so. I have.
I got a question.
Those things over there?
Yep.
Can they come out or no?
They're sitting on 2 foot of concrete.
Yeah.
And so we decided we're gonna trim around them, paint them the same color as the wall. And not have to worry about trying to,
Trying to get them out.
yeah.
Because
Because once you get.
I make you take a space from
Oh, they're kind of nice.
They are.
I mean,
We took the ones out that were up here, there were 3 that was up here, we got rid of them. And I consulted with Sheila Caraway and Anna Parrish on picking out the colors, carpet colors, cushion colors.
probably better them than you.
Yes. We're going with carpet squares. They're gonna start painting Wednesday. It'll be a tan color and then a lighter tan for the trim. We'll get everything put back together. It'll take a little while on the cushions. I don't know exactly when they'll be here. Hopefully when Charlie gets a bunch of 309s, maybe we can redo the woodwork on them benches and stuff. Cause they do need to be sanded down and refinished eventually. Y'all got anything else?
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed, say likewise. You gonna have a good football team this year?